Alrighty, global tier list time. I kind of forgot on where I left off, so obviously I had to track back, go back to my videos and kind of redo the tier list. And this is kind of where I left it, just not in any particular order when it comes to character being SSS, whatever, right? You guys get the idea. Now, obviously with where global is at right now, we still have to do Kohono, Kyoto, and then season 3 along with Yuno. So we've got a hefty amount of characters to put through into the tier list, and with where things are at, we can start cooking off by putting Kohono. Oh, I should also mention this is the PvE tier list. I'll also do PvP since I don't want this to be too long, but obviously with Kohono, she is the barrier healer, right? So for PvE, going to be super effective. Although the consistency of healing won't be as much compared to the other healers, because of course she's more in the sense of the barrier. Now with her Greymore, she can remove 2 debuffs, which is pretty nice to have, but that requires the skill page itself. But in general, you know, she's not too bad. I'll give her the A rank position. I think that's kind of where she fits the best, specifically of the type of healer that she actually is. So, because I honestly, when it comes to the other healers, being Mimosa and Charmy, I do think that Kohono is like healing wise is slightly one below. When it comes to defense buffing, debuff removing, and attack buffing from her ultimate, then I would honestly at that point might want to bump her up. But I think just in general, A rank for PvE is going to be pretty suitable for Kohono. And then Kyoto, I will put him in S rank as he's a blue nuker. Yes, he does require a little bit of a build up, but once that build up is there, yeah, no, he can drop some big numbers. So I think for global as it stands right now with where things are at, I would put him one below Julius. I mean, over time, of course, he will unfortunately drop down a little bit, but for right now, I'll give him the S rank position as he is a pretty solid blue nuker. Alrighty, so that's Kyoto and Kohono, of course. Now we're going over to the season 3. Actually, you know what? I'll leave the season 3. Let's look at the free-to-play Yuno. Free-to-play Yuno PvE. Now I've just done my video showcasing this man, and honestly, it's crazy to think that this man is for free. It really is. But S rank, 100% S rank for PvE. This Yuno, if you are allowed to debuff enemies, it's a wrap for them. You got to keep in mind this Yuno can drop plus 60% on the attack drop for the enemies on an AoE. Not only that, obviously once you get those LR passives coming into play, you can get some extra bit of favored damage going on. More importantly, his ultimate, yes, he's got the incapacitate on an AoE range, but you can designate and target down a specific enemy to do a guaranteed crit. Line that up with the combination skill, you can drop their defense by 70%. So, and again, if you've seen the videos that I've done, including the one that I've just uploaded, he is a nuking meta unit. So, and he's free. He's free. And you only need 1 copy to accomplish great deal of numbers and to get the debuffs. That's the crazy thing also. This Yuno requires near to nothing, and this man is doing his job to a T. So, Yuno definitely for PvE, he is S rank material, 100%. Okay, moving along to Jack. This is a tough one because usually I would put Jack in B, but I feel like with global, with where the global is at right, actually no, global you've got Raya and Lich, so you're kind of chilling on the green attackers. Okay, with the Greymore, A. Without the Greymore, B. But just for the sake of how things are, let's just put him with the Greymore. I'll give him the satisfaction of putting him A. But the minute Farna comes along, he's going to B. Now, yeah. Alright, just had to move a few characters around, but we're kind of settling down to where I'm liking where things are right now, so I'm happy with everything so far. Okay, so Fugolun is the final character. And I think where I'm going to place him, guys, for PvE in particular, is high A. I was going to consider putting him in low S, but I think high A is pretty fair for my boy Fugolion as of right now when it comes to global PvE content. Now, the big seller for Fugolion in my eyes is, of course, the barrier removal, which won't exactly help you in PvE since it's not exactly needed. Although the burn damage is there, I do believe that with Fugolion, once the burn unit starts actually to make their way in, then we'll start to see the burn actually cause chaos on PvE. But as it stands right now, I mean, he's a solid unit. I mean, the Greymore itself, as I've mentioned plenty of times when it comes to Fagolion's Greymore in particular, for the future burn units, it's going to be absolutely cracked out, right? Especially if you can dupe it out, of course. But I think for right now, where Fagolion, I think keeping him at A rank for PvE is pretty suitable. And then possibly he can jump up once we start getting the burn meta units in, because keep in mind he's kind of like the introduction to the whole burn meta. But I think for the PvE tier list, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is where I'm going to keep everything. Alrighty, so this is the PvP tier list on where I left it off. I think I made a few changes here, but yeah. So this is kind of where I'm comfortable, where things are at. So let's just kind of throw in the remaining units where I do believe where they are within PvP. So, Kyoto, when it comes to PvP, B. I'm going to put him in B. I'm sorry. He's a free kill. 2, he needs setup, which you're not going to do, especially not in PvP. I just don't. I personally, with now Julius coming into play, he is just, unfortunately for PvP, just a blue deadweight attacker, right? If anything, I'll resort to taking Yami over him or Varna, right? I'm just, just kind of, it's just unfortunate, but he has his place being PvE. That's it. All right, PvP, it's not his place. Kahono, I will put her in A rank. Now, I would have classed her in S before Season 3, but because of Fagolion, she has to go to A. Fagolion has come into place where barrier meta is, well, it's getting thrown out. Well, I mean, it's still usable, technically speaking, it's still usable, but there is a unit that can now completely dispel it on an AoE area. So there's that. So that I think that's kind of where I'm putting Kyoto and Kahono when it comes to the PvP tier list for global. Charlotte, high S. I mean, that's kind of like a no-brainer. She is pretty. I say she is. She's meta because her passive applies silence. So your skill 2 is going to be completely locked off. The only unit that can pretty much unlock their skill 2 within the first turn is Julius if he gets the extra attack. Outside of that, everyone is locked off. So good luck. So yeah, no, Blue Mono is back. Charlotte in general is just a pretty solid, highly meta PvP unit, just in general. So we'll keep her there. And plus she works extremely well with William, so there's that. And Mars. The blue units are on top. What can I say? What can I say? Jack is going to be. Yeah, Jack is a no-no for PvP, unfortunately. Still waiting on the day when we get a good Jack, because I even moved this Jack down to C. I'm sorry, Jacks have not done me anything good. I'm gonna just keep it straight. Yeah, you got the bleed, but I mean, unless you're running another unit that can apply bleed, because then you're gonna have to wait a turn. And plus, it's then at that point an RNG chance to miss the bleed itself to get the stun. So I don't know. I think Jack for PvP is just again not suitable. I think B rank will just keep him there, and that's pretty much the end of. All right. Fagolion, S rank with Charlotte. Yes. So, my boy Kaijo is having an absolute blasting champion with Fagolion, because I guess people are forgetting to change up their defense team, and so people that are resorting in the barrier play are completely getting nullified due to the fact that their Fagolion is just completely bypassing their barrier, getting that extra bit of damage off, keeping the whole, well, making it so that the whole team is pretty much open. Because at that point, if you've got speed to factor in and you've got characters lined up behind Fagolion, then it's an open season of a whoop-ass. So Fagolion, as it stands right now for global, is a very, very good character for PvP. If you can get him up decently well enough with like damage and whatnot, then that's kind of like the icing on the cake, icing on the top of the cake, or whatever. However you say it's goddamn saying, I don't know anymore. But regardless, Fagolion with the dispelling of the barrier on an AoE margin, that is picture perfect to kind of put a halt to the barrier meta. I mean, technically speaking, if you've got speed on your side, Julius himself can kind of hold it down, kind of take a pause on the barrier meta, realistically. But if you are unfortunate in that position where the enemy just piles on the barrier turn 1 or whatnot, and you've got Fagolion sitting there, then they have to kind of rethink their strategy. We've also got Charlotte that locks off Noelle and as well as Kahono to apply their barrier first turn. So things are shifting, things are changing, but Fagolion, he's 100% S rank worthy. Damage, dispelling, you got it's picture perfect, especially to combat one of the most popular metas that Black Clover PvP had or has still going on. Then we have Yuno. Now, unfortunately, as I've stated, Yuno, when it comes to PvE, he's an absolute monster with all the debuffs they can apply. But for PvP, it is not what we're looking for, unfortunately. It is not what we're looking for. Alright, Yuno on PvP, just not going to cut it, unfortunately. Just not going to cut it. Yes, all the incompatible. I mean, well, technically speaking, you'd resort to using Lotus. So obviously, at this point, you and plus blue meta, can't go wrong with that. But yeah, no, Lotus is just going to be the better play between him and Yuno. So that's kind of what we're putting Yuno here, and of course Charlotte. I mean, just specifically targeting the debuffers, of course. Charlotte just giving those extra turns, of course, dropping the enemy's defense by what was it, 70%? On an AoE, no, 80%. She gives 10% more than Yuno's combination. So, and again, it's AoE too. So, yeah, it's just better debuffers that can help you out more within the PvP side of things. So, unfortunately, Yuno has to be dropped down to B rank. But anyway, guys, that is the PvP side of things for global tier list. Would you change things up? I feel like some people might put Charlotte in SS, and with that, I don't actually blame you. I really don't. She's actually that much of a good supporter. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there. We'll come back at a later time due to the fact that Global is going to be piling up on banners and new units, so we can revisit the tier list at that time. But for right now, I think those are all the characters that we have, right? I think these are going to be coming in later. Yep, okay, for a second I thought I missed someone out, but we're chilling. We're good. Anyway, boys, I'll leave it there. Yeah, thank you for watching. Stay awesome, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Take care. Peace.